Hey everybody, I'm back today with another layout for Wild Whisper. I'm showing you some of the products I pulled to use. We're actually going to end up not using those dies, but we are going to use the Splotch stamp set. My layout is going to have 4 photos, and I'm going to be using the Poor Decisions collection from a Flip Appeal. I have a white sheet of cardstock as my base, and then I have some colored cardstock that match the line, but we're actually not. I was going to die cut them and use them as my title, but that's not what we're going to do. I am going to use the branding strip, and I'm going to cut apart that pattern paper. Okay, so let's start with our stamping. I'm going to grab a white sheet of cardstock. I use pretty thick cardstock for stamping. I primarily, in my scrapbook room, use cardstock from the Cardstock Warehouse, and I get the cardstock that's pretty thick. Unless I'm going to be using wet, then I use something completely different. There's that sticker that's going to be our title. So that's why I didn't die cut my letters. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the ginormous Misty out. I have some Tiara, and then I also grabbed some Lime Ricky stamping ink from Catherine Polar, and that's what we're going to use. I want to go ahead and stamp this Splotch stamp twice, once in yellow and once in green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it a little bit higher up in my layout, because my plan is to have these kind of drink rings be behind my photo, just kind of peeking out from above my photos in the finished layout, and that's actually how it works too. So I'm going a little bit higher than halfway for my splotch stamping. I did turn my stamp around so that it doesn't look like the same splotches just side by side each other. And that's just a very kind of small little detail, but I would have noticed. So I'm going to focus primarily on the green and yellow colors in the collection. I'm going to go ahead now and mat my photos. I have 4 photos, so 2 of them are going to be matted in yellow and 2 are going to be matted in green. Gone ahead and fussy cut the elements from that pattern paper that I want to use, so now we can just go ahead and put the layout together. I want to put this green branding strip across the top of the page. I'm just going to line it up with the edge of the paper. And then I want to go ahead and create kind of like a layered border across the bottom. So I want the border across the bottom to be layered. I want it to be chunky. I want these drinks to kind of overlap and kind of intermingle with all of these like lemon slices and lime slices and the ice cubes and all that stuff. My photos are not the best quality, like they're not the best pictures. And so I don't care in the end, and you'll see it as I put the photos down. I don't mind if some of the picture is kind of tucked under this large border. I feel like that's totally fine for this particular layout. I'm going for more of the mood and the theme of how that evening was. So I remembered before I die cut all those letters, that I had this sticker that I had purchased at the distillery. So this is photos from, we have a moonshine distillery that's actually owned by good friends of ours, and it's probably 45 minutes to an hour from our house, but we definitely make it a point to go there often. We've been there a couple times, and we definitely needed to take Morgan there. So while I was there on one of the trips I took there, I had bought this sticker thinking, I could scrapbook with it. Of course, I crazy forgot about it then, right? But it just so happens I remembered it while I was putting this layout together, and I'm like, that's going to be my title. So we're going to use that sticker, that bit of ephemera from the distillery for our layout. So I am adding some pop dots and some tabby dots onto some of these drinks, kind of popping them up. I started with the drinks that were on the squares, so I just went right around the square and let that background be a little bit of extra color. And then some of the drinks are from the ephemera pack, and some of the drinks I cut around, especially if they had like red or pink or one of the other colors in the collection, because I really wanted to focus on the shades of yellow and green. So you can see here, I'm popping some of these glasses up. I'm letting some of them stay down on the page, providing some dimension and some depth. I really wanted this like border across the bottom to have a lot of depth and color. Here is that sticker I was talking about. So what I decided I really wanted to do was to put it on just a piece of scrap white paper and then pop it up with some foam tape. That way it will be at the same level as a lot of the other pieces that are popped up, but and it'll give it more depth and dimension. I can tuck stuff like underneath it and around it and things like that. So I just put it on a piece of white cardstock, cut around it, and then went ahead and popped it up with some foam tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and tuck my 4 photos in. I'm going to move them around just a little bit to kind of get them in place correctly. Like I said, I don't mind that the drinks kind of come up over the photos. It was okay. Like I said, these weren't like amazing pictures or anything, and so I don't mind having them kind of partially covered up. And I like the look of them being kind of down within the drinks and all of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all of these little kind of lemony pieces and limey pieces, the ice cubes, all of that. I'm going to create little clusters around the drinks. This is actually totally perfect because in one photo, my son is holding a drink that has a lemon wedge in it. One of the photos is of one of the cocktails that I got that had a lime on the edge of it. So it worked out perfectly. These were perfect photos to use with these little lemons and limes and the ice cubes. So I am tucking them in and around and then popping some of them up using some tabby dots. And then you can see up in the upper right hand corner, just to balance the top and bottom out, because we have so much going on at the bottom. I'm going to put just a little cluster up in that top right corner so that it doesn't look too empty up there. I had so much fun with this collection. I think I'm going to have to move on to a new collection for my Wild Whisper projects next month. I'm thinking we're going to work with the Till We Eat Again, because I have some food photos to do too. That's why we're going to call this one done. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here are all of your close-ups. As always, you can grab my discount code DT Sarah to save a little bit off of your Wild Whisper order. I know right now these new collections are not in stock in the Wild Whisper website, but if you're in the US, they are in stock over at A Cherry on Top. I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye.